is going to disrupt writing forever as we know it. So I think that's the best thing is just, how do I step away from archaic institutions, ways of thinking? Am I in a school that has banned ChatGPT? Hopefully not, because we saw most of those school districts actually apologize for banning and unban. That shouldn't be happening anymore. That's the dark ages.
You're listening to Future Tense, the AI show that demystifies the world of artificial intelligence and tells you what you need to know. Join Jeff Joyce and Julia McCoy live right now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Future Tense. I'm so excited to be here today with you. Go ahead, Julia.
Like, Jeff, we rehearsed this, and now I'm the one being awkward. I'm Julia. There we go. Well, don't we have an amazing episode for you guys today? Jeff and I were just saying this feels like one of the best topics we've been able to talk about since we started the show, which makes me sound like we've been running this for 100 decades, but that's how AI feels. I feel like a day is like 1,000 years. So let's jump right in. So today's topic is all about education. We're going to start there because we have some incredible breaking news from Friday, actually, January 23rd. We're recording this Friday, the 19th. So let's just jump right into that. And then after that, we've got some more amazing headlines to break down for you. So the first one is all about education. And that's where we're going to start. You see the headline of the show, right? Will schools adapt to AI? That's the headline of this episode. So I want to take you through a journey. And Jeff and I were talking about this, like, how do we really tell this story? Because it's so amazing. So let me take you through a journey of last year where all of this started. So November of 2022, here comes ChatGPT, basically breaking the internet. For the first time, we can interact with AI by simply conversing with it. And that changed the world. ChatGPT became the world's fastest adapted to technology in a matter of weeks. Under 2 months, it had 100 million signups. So you go from there to this world of education that is, quite frankly, antiquated, out of touch, and it was built for another era. So here's ChatGPT. Meaning butting heads with that antiquation. And what happens? January of 2023, you have school districts that began to ban ChatGPT from the use of their classrooms. And there's actually a timeline I pulled up from Forbes. You can see it if you're watching on YouTube, where back in December of 2022, when ChatGPT came out, Los Angeles was the first school district to actually put a block on the site, OpenAI's website. Why did they do this? Quote unquote, to protect academic honesty. I would ask, how could they even say that if they don't know how to use this technology? But no, as academia does, so traditionally, it jumps to the front and makes an assumption about something it doesn't even know about to, quote unquote, protect students. So we go from there to New York City. New York City public schools became the largest school district in the country to ban ChatGPT as well in early January. The press secretary that was talking about this just threw the statement out there, another very quick jump to conclusions. Wonder if she even used the tool. Anyway, she said it doesn't help build critical thinking and problem-solving skills. So there was a ton of jumping to conclusions made by the people leading education. But to be fair, this is a totally new technology, and here's education. It's an industry that has a hard time adapting, period. Then we go from there to Washington, D.C., where the news stations there began to report different counties banning ChatGPT throughout Virginia, Alabama. Interesting to see the ban continue to go. So we go from there, right? Beginning of 2023 to spring, May. What happens? These school districts began to unban ChatGPT. In fact, in May of last year, and I'll share a New York Times article on this, New York City schools began to issue apologies to the public, saying that they acted too hastily and that they're going to unblock ChatGPT. In fact, when you look at LA, the superintendent over there went as far as to say, we're seeing children who have unfiltered, unblocked connectivity to ChatGPT at home benefit from these tools. So what do these educators say at first? Oh, this is not going to help critical thinking, not going to help problem solving. And then when these students went home and used ChatGPT, these superintendents found that these children actually came to school smarter and better for it. So it's really interesting to see how education had to adapt. They didn't have a choice. And then you have educators like school teachers all throughout different districts that began to actually give their students ChatGPT. There's this article we're looking at that's focusing on a high school in Washington State called Walla Walla High School. And this educator there, she basically put ChatGPT in the hands of her middle school. Pretty amazing to see this happen. And what she saw was that the students really benefited from actually getting their hands on this tool. So over here in Austin, Texas, last fall, I was in a room where there were some UT professors that not only put ChatGPT in the hands of their students, this was a college class, but they actually tasked their students with breaking ChatGPT. Try to break it. Try to do everything you can to actually break this technology and then see what happens. So basically what that UT professor taught them to do was to think critically and to learn how to prompt it and get better and better outputs. Because how do you learn? You learn by failing. You learn by breaking stuff. So I thought that was genius. And then these students, he began to see some incredible things. There was one student that aced the entire class because, Jeff, you'll like this. They figured out a master prompt that could answer every
Yes. Way to go.
Just like that's me.
Yeah.
So we go from there, bans happening to unbanning to superintendents actually apologizing to entire districts to this news that just broke Friday, January 19th. And it's amazing. What's actually happening, and I'll pull up an article on this, is that ASU, Arizona State University, is actually the first ever university to partner with OpenAI and sign up on the enterprise plan. And here we go, pulling up the TechCrunch article on this. So ASU is the first higher education customer of OpenAI. And what they did, whenever I dug into it, like, how are they actually using this? And a big shout out to Lev Gonick, who is the chief information officer at ASU. The way he went about this, even what he said on the press release, he sees OpenAI as a thought partner. That was his word for universities. I thought that's brilliant. That is such a great way to portray the benefit of AI in school. So what ASU is doing is they're actually putting the licenses of OpenAI's ChatGPT enterprise license in the hands of the professor. And they put it in the largest college class, which is pretty amazing. Their largest class is freshman composition. And what they've asked the professors to do is to use ChatGPT to build personalized AI tutors. And those tutors will then offer writing help. When I saw this, Jeff, I was like jumping off my seat. I couldn't believe it, because I think that what ASU is doing is they're actually putting AI in the correct driver's seat, the correct seat of education. I don't think AI is just something you introduce in the classroom and you say, hey, go use ChatGPT and see how it can help you write an essay. And I got to see this firsthand whenever the lockdowns happened in 2020. I'll share a little story. My 9-year-old was 6 at the time. It was the hardest time. Like, she was in tears almost every day. She couldn't see her friends. She didn't understand why she had to stay home. It was like incredibly hard. My heart broke. And I began to look for online solutions where she could interact with friends, interact with a great technology, learn, enjoy school, because we were just having a hard time even getting through the at home curriculum. It was school went fully remote. So I found this platform called Khan Kids Academy, and it like changed our lives. It was so fun. It was so interactive. Fast forward a few years later, Sal Khan gives a TED talk and he says, if education puts AI in the driver's seat of the education, that's how we can change education completely and radically for the better using artificial intelligence. And what he did was he built AI. He took OpenAI's license and he built it directly into their app. And now you're actually interacting with an AI tutor. So I thought that was brilliant because I don't think there is any higher use of a technology this incredible. And when we think about AI, it is the world's fastest adapting technology, the world's fastest growing vertical right now. We are seeing, as of 2021, it has surpassed humans at almost every single task. By the year 2120, I think could be a lot sooner, it's supposed to fully automate all labor. And these are like data backed. We're not just saying things here. Like, this is data backed facts. So if you take something that incredible and you actually allow it to teach the next generation how to be incredible, how to be gifted, how to pull out their talent, I think there's no better use. So that's why I am thrilled at the news of ASU embracing this and not just buying the enterprise license. By the way, 5,500 faculty members and over 100,000 students. They're taking that, giving it to the faculty and saying, hey guys, replace yourself in the classroom with something that is better than you. But oh, by the way, you're still teaching this. You're just using AI to help you teach it better. I love it. Jeff, mic over to you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a topic that I think both of us are very, very, very passionate about. We've had conversations about education before with AI, and I think that it is just something that I was a poor student for all of my educational career. I'm horrible at math. But the thing is that AI can be so personalized to me and what my needs are and what my learning requirements are that it would have been such a huge asset for me to have in the classroom. And this just puts ASU on the map. Like, if you're seeking education and you actually want to understand the topics that you're going through, AI is going to be your best companion. It's going to know all the nuances of how you learn and what you need to know in order for you to succeed. I think that's game changing. That's a revolutionary way of us tackling all the educational problems that we have in the country. And we have so many when it comes down to the curriculum, when it comes down to, how many teachers or how many students per classroom. There's no personalized attention to students anymore. And I think that through AI, we can have that be kind of like the intermediary between the student and the teacher, to where the teacher can understand exactly where the student might have pitfalls on. And if the AI is not assisting, they can just take a look at data and say, okay, I understand where the student is failing. Let me step in on these areas, or maybe let's tweak the AI tutor in this way to facilitate a better education plan for the student. That is incredible.
Incredible.
And I think that the future is really, really bright for AI in education. And it's something that I'm definitely be like, hey, you're going to go to school for anything, go to ASU. I mean, that is a school to go to right now for that. I'm just interested to see what further AI education studies they bring on as a result of this, and how that kind of landscape for higher education changes over the next few years.
Same. It'll be really interesting to see, because I think, the backlash like last January was terrible. I mean, there was a professor that found out this over in California, found out that the student was using ChatGPT. Boom. Immediately that student got kicked out of class, kicked out of campus, and banned. Well, guess what? That student and their family turned around and sued the college. Guess who won? Not the college. You're fighting a losing freaking battle. The student won. And so we just saw, I think, education go, whoa, what happened here? curveball and then come right back from that and say, okay, we actually got to get with the times here. And it's good to see a college as big as ASU, like just embrace it. I got to say, like, just hats off. Just like you said, Jeff, I would tell everyone I know that wants to go to college, go college there. Because I don't see anything like this in the headlines where the university is, not just saying, okay, I think it's fine to use ChatGPT. Go try to use it when you're writing an essay. No, they're actually equipping their tutors and their faculty on staff with an enterprise license to this thing. And they're telling them, go build personalized AI tutors. And they're doing this, by the way, in their largest class, the writing class, which don't get me started on how much college essays need to be completely rehauled, never taught again. Essays are dead. So to take that class and drop personalized AI tutoring in the middle of it, I think it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I can't wait. I mean, we're moving to Arizona. Like, when can I go visit ASU?
Yeah.
I'm thrilled.
If you're in Arizona, you go to ASU. Keep on the lookout from us. We're gonna possibly be down there. Never know.
This episode was not sponsored in any way by ASU, but we are telling you right now to go to ASU.
Our goal is to turn Arizona into the new AI mecca, where it's the one spot you go to for all things AI.
Well, I have a wordplay name already made for the group of people that we're going to create in Arizona. And it's called Cacti. If you guys don't appreciate that, you are not my friends.
I love it.
Cacti Connections. And I'll spell it out on the screen so you can actually see, but you guys get it. So yeah, our goal is to go to Arizona and create just an AI, mecca, a cacti mecca.
Cacti mecca. Yep.
So that's the first news of the day. And it's pretty incredible just to be able to see that happen. I think just the way they're going about this and what Lev Gonick said representing ASU as their CIO, as a chief information officer, and looking at OpenAI and this enterprise license as a design and a thought partner is just really brilliant, because I think the fear in education, really any industry, comes from the perspective you have of, oh, this is going to replace me. And that just creates fear, that creates resistance. But what Lev said, looking at this as a partner, that's how ASU is looking at this. That is the most brilliant way to look at AI. Because if you look at it that way, in the seat of a coworker, a partner, an assistant, something that can augment and transform your work, make you 5 to 10 times to 25 times better, faster, more efficient. It's like, are you still going to go walk down the street to your library and look through a file of drawers trying to find a book to get to the information? Or are you going to open your phone and just do a Google search? Hello, I'm going to do a Google search. And AI is much the same. It's going to be at that point where it's just a no-brainer for us and the employer employing us to use AI. So we really have to adapt. And education needs to lead that forefront. And I was worried for a minute last year, seeing all these districts just ban ChatGPT, but then they recalibrate, unban. And now, January, we actually have a real adapter with ASU. So it's brilliant to see.
Absolutely. And for anybody that has young kids, you don't have to wait. If your kids aren't going to a school that has AI assisted learning, which hardly any of them do, you don't have to wait in order for you to implement that or start teaching your kids AI. It's definitely something that I talked about in episode 1, but I think that you should be able to work with your kids on the areas that they need the most help in and design tutors around that yourself. I think it's such a powerful skill just to sit down and use AI to kind of map out what it is they need help with. And you can even ask most AIs to do it for you. And they'll assist you in creating, whether it's custom GPTs or so forth, to create good learning systems for your children. I think it's such an important thing that parents need to understand, that it's not something that's out of reach for you right now. You can absolutely do this right now with technology that you have at home.
I love that. Just empowering the students and the parents at home to start there. I mean, I think I spent a total of an hour with my daughter just showing her here's how to actually use AI, right? We're going to open it, we're going to prompt it. And she's 9. I taught her this when she was 8.5. And I'll tell you the rapid pace at which she took that 1 hour, and I was prepared to spend more time with my kid. It's not like, oh, you only get an hour. No, that's where we started. But she took that hour of, okay, mom taught me how to use Midjourney, how to open ChatGPT, how to prompt AI. Oh, wow, mom, there's something called Magic Write in Canva. I'm going to go create this whole presentation, which she did without me knowing. She was just, we have a computer. We've equipped her to use it, encourage her to use it. It's out here in the open right next to my desk. So she's free to use it anytime. And that has created a great environment for her to feel like she has permission to do all this, which is very important for us to do as parents. So, it's funny. Oh my goodness. Our kids are so smart. The next generation, like, we're in trouble. So she learned how to prompt the AI and get results. And here she goes in Canva learning how to use Magic Write. I didn't know at the time, this was last year, middle of the year, I didn't know that Magic Write had come out. I wasn't actually aware of that. So she comes to me with the finished presentation. She doesn't show me what she's doing. In fact, she's like, Mom, don't look. I'm making a surprise for you. And then she comes to me with the presentation and she starts to read it. And she has like this sparkle in her eye. She's excited. Well, I'll tell you, she begins to read it and presents it as if she wrote every word. And I was like, wait a minute. You just said that the flowers in the field look like silk and the grass is greener than the richest green you could find in a crayon box, and yada, yada, yada. Like, these statements she was saying were so, like, just poetic. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Great job. And then I kid you not, she looks at me with like this little grin and she goes, Mom, AI wrote this. And instead of being like, oh no, that's terrible, you should have written it, I was like, that's amazing. Because she just used AI to generate something. She did it in less than 10 minutes. This was 12 slides with at least 3 sentences per slide of very well written language that matched the image perfectly. It was a presentation that would have stood up in any board meeting. I mean, I don't know what she was selling. But it was well done. And that's in the end what we should care about. Not, oh, did you do this or did AI do it? It's the results, because that's what the employer cares about. That's what the people that pay you care about. And so in the end, what do they want? What does the real world want from us? Well, can AI do that better? And we've got to get really real about that. But, now she knows that she can't fool Mom. We did clear that up.
A lot of people think that AI kind of will stifle creativity, or make it too easy to create, or everything that comes from AI won't be inspired. But I feel like it's the opposite. It's an expander of creativity.
Yes.
When I work on AI projects with my nephews, I went through the similar process of just giving them the basics, the fundamentals of using Midjourney, of using ChatGPT, creating bots, and doing all these things. But that evolved very, very quickly into just a hunger to create more than what they even knew how to create. For instance, one of my nephews wants to create like Roblox games. And so he needs to learn how to code in order to do that. He knows nothing about coding. He's far too young to even have an interest for that, in my opinion. But he developed an interest from that, just from seeing the capabilities that he was able to use with AI, that now that's all he wants to do is just learn and test and try to code. And it's going great. I mean, it's such an expander of that, like that initial spark. It puts, gasoline on it, and it's amazing.
That's a great way to look at it. Love that. Well, I know we have a few other headlines to cover. Jeff, I'll hand it to you on one of these topics about AI hitting Galaxy phones. Can you talk about that?
Yes, I can. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and pull up my screen here for you guys. Go to present. All right. So during the Galaxy Unpacked event, which was Samsung's reveal of their latest flagship phone, they also talked about Galaxy AI. It says Galaxy AI is here, and some of the features that were released with this are pretty impressive. This is only available for the S24 and S24 Plus, and I imagine that this is just like a starting place for them. I think that they're going to beat Apple to the AI punch of basically providing just a ton of different AI solutions for their customers that Apple doesn't really have to do something very innovative to catch up.
Yeah.
One of the things that was really impressive right here, this is a circle to search. What you do is any object you have inside of a picture, you can just circle that object and it'll immediately try to find that in Google for you, whether that's a shopping link or it could be a link to a source, whatever it is that you're taking a picture of. As long as you can circle around it, it'll take you to a relevant Google search using Google Vision. One of the most exciting things that I found was live translate. So this is able to translate into, I think it's like 30 something languages, and it works on your phone. So basically you'd initiate a phone call with somebody from wherever they're at in the world, and in almost real time, it would do the translation for you. But it also has a feature where you can mute the other person talking to where you only hear the translation. That's how confident they are in the capability of this live translation. And from the audio that I've heard from it, it's pretty impressive, and it's really close to real time. I see this being such a huge tool for international communications. I'm so excited to see where this is going to go, especially like with just wearable devices in the future, to where it's just like I can travel anywhere around the world and have a conversation with somebody that I've never met in a language that I don't know and be able to talk back and forth with people. That's just so cool, in my opinion.
It just breaks down that extra barrier where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, hold on. I got to pull up translate. I got to, streamlining. I think AI is going to revolutionize just the tools that come out, what we're going to see over the next 12, 14 months with like you think it occurs. That's
Right.
dream state, right? That we can do that with AI. And this is a next step towards that.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to see like just there's also features coming to all sorts of stuff like YouTube and for like translating your videos automatically. And there's tons of stuff coming out in the translation space. But I think that the phone is such a good entry point to where the
Yeah.
wearables is just that very next step above that to where it's like I just put my earbuds in and walk around and I could talk to people in any language. I think that's just such a cool concept. Transcript Assist is pretty interesting. It goes through and identifies each speaker and then transcribes everything from a meeting or from a phone call, and it creates summaries on it. Not as impressive as the other two, but I think that's still very, very useful if you want to summarize a call, if you want to summarize a meeting. That's a useful tool. Generative edit is basically just a way for you to select this, and
Wow.
Apple kind of has this already, where you're able to create stickers and stuff like that, and select a subject, and then kind of move them or wiggle them around, and it removes them from the image. This is basically the same thing, just using generative AI in order to do that, and obviously it will fill in the background. And then the last one's going to be Chat Assist. This is able to translate for you within text messages. You're able to ask prompts of it, all sorts of cool stuff. This is a feature that I think that is kind of cool in theory. I want us to actually play with this and see what it's like, because it looks kind of jumbled up. Like you have your original message and then you have the translated message below it. I'd like to see like it replace it completely, but it's very interesting nonetheless.
Are you on Android, Jeff, versus iPhone?
I'm on iPhone, and when I saw this presentation, I was like, I don't want to switch back. Don't make me switch back. Apple, you better do something.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought. Whenever I started out with my online businesses like 10 years ago, one of my first phones was the Galaxy, and I was really, impressed with it. And I only switched to iPhone because I am definitely a diehard MacBook fan. I mean, there's no better computers. Sorry, Windows people. But yeah, like Apple better produce something here, because I am very tempted to switch back to Android looking at the new Galaxy coming out. It's pretty rad.
It is pretty rad. And I think that from a standpoint of like how quickly we're going to see AI features reach Android, it's going to be a lot faster than Apple can keep up with. It's such a robust platform with so
Wow.
many developers coding and creating products for Android that I think that in order for Apple to really create like solid first party technology, they'd have to like invest a ton of money and really wait quite a while in order to get something truly innovative onto their platform for their phones. I think that Android is just the perfect platform for that kind of like open source feel of like creating AI technologies into a mobile unit that it's going to be really, really hard for Apple to keep up.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's interesting to see the arms race here because we have these big tech companies that have been able to just build very robust technology for years, but boom, here's this disruption of artificial intelligence suddenly becoming the norm thanks to ChatGPT. And so the expectation is, well, AI should be in this feature or in this feature. And like just what, 13 months ago, there wasn't that expectation. So this is like, you got to get with it or you're going to be left behind. And it's interesting to see which companies will win and come out of this as winners.
Yeah, we're also gonna get a lot of bloat too with it, where it's like I need a separate device that's like AI enabled to name my dog. Like I don't think that's a good use case for AI and have it be a separate device. Like there's tons of use cases for AI. I just don't think that that's probably one that we should go after.
I mean, that was a use case? Was that at CES?
No, it's just a
Okay.
hypothetical use case. I mean, if somebody had an idea that's listening for that, please don't.
The worst ideas of all time. I mean, I bought a dog I adopted a dog, bought a dog in the last 7 years one time. So to get one device, yeah, you win. Worst example ever, Jeff.
Yep.
Oh
I
my
think that
goodness.
can probably segue us into something that I really wanted to talk about and hopefully get to is I'll let Julia let you take over this one. Is Sam Altman and AGI?
Oh, 100%. That is, you read my mind. That's coming up right next. I was actually pulling up the tab. Yeah. So AGI, right? If you're not aware, that stands for artificial general intelligence. And the idea is that OpenAI or ChatGPT, GPT-4, GPT-5, and the iterations coming can think autonomously. And there's rumors and hints of sentient thinking, which is synonymous to consciousness at a level of human. So, what's interesting, first of all, I'll start here. What Sam Altman said at the World Economic Forum just this month, January 2024. And he said that AGI is absolutely in the future, reasonably close ish. So he actually confirmed, yes, this is coming. This is a real thing. He defined it, he defined it as this is a form of artificial intelligence, meaning AGI, that can complete tasks at the same level or a step above humans. However, I thought this was interesting because I haven't heard him say this. There's been a lot of rumors that he hasn't actually confirmed. And then, of course, there was the whole debacle where, he quit OpenAI, got rehired. That all occurred. So here he is back as the CEO of OpenAI saying 100% AGI is going to happen in the close-ish future. But he also said this, which I want to highlight. This is really important. He said that it's going to be an incredible tool for productivity. It will absolutely, he said, reshape and disrupt the world, but to the level at which the media portrays, at which we all think, I quote, he said it'll happen much less than we think. So I think and I've been saying this from the start, Hollywood, the media, even like throughout time, we have been presented this image of artificial intelligence that's actually quite scary. And I really think it's for a reason. I think the narrative has been presented to us to try to keep us from embracing what is an incredibly bright future whenever we do adapt to AI because of what it will do. It will free up our time. It could, I was talking to my family about if you put this in the seat of the educator, what would our kids be able to achieve that might have taken us years? What kind of languages could they learn in a matter of a week because AI gamified it and came up with a new way to teach that we would never have thought of, because that's the power of AI. Right. But that's, again, if we're harnessing it for good, if we are actually the ones taking control of it versus just sitting by and letting whatever country, whatever company, whatever corporation, kind of make AI happen to us. So if we are taking advantage of this, if we're learning how to use it at home with our kids, implement it into our workflows, learn how to use the best tools, sponsored or not, shout out to Consonant Scale, one of the best tools for long form writing on the entire internet, the most human like AI writer. Trying to plug that in naturally. How did I do? Probably 3 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Let us know in the comments.
Consonantscale.ai. Going back to that idea of AGI, so we've been presented what I really think is a narrative that's been presented to us, much like a lot of institutionalized education is also something that we haven't had a say. It's been created by a system. I think the presentation of AI is much the same. And I think it's been presented to us in that way through movies, film, television, media, to keep us in a state of reactivity, where we are just letting this happen and sitting by instead of grabbing the freaking wheel going, I'm going to drive this thing and 10x my life, because that is the possibility. So I think like we actually have something tangible with the release, the statement here by Sam Altman, which just came out, right? We have something tangible where he said, hey guys, AGI is happening, but by the way, it's not the Terminator y'all thought it would be. It's actually something that's going to revolutionize work. You're going to be disappointed. In fact, he said, like, we don't actually have a sentient level of intelligence here with artificial general intelligence. So he confirmed all that. And then he said, what, I've been saying all along, guys, slow down. This isn't the Terminator. It is what you make it to be. And we are in the driver's seat. It's amazing. Like, take my story, for example. Jeff, I know you have a similar one. I was a writer. I didn't have any say in anything AI at all. Right? I came from an industry of very much human manual work. And I literally knocked on the door of Consonant Scale and I said, I believe in this so much. I want to be a part of it. And here I am now fully immersed in AI, getting reposted on LinkedIn with the hashtag AI. So, like, what I want to tell you by sharing that with you is to inspire you that you absolutely have the power to make AI what it can be in your life, in your work. So remember that. And I think Sam Altman's comments to that are really powerful. So if we move from that to this next piece of AGI, which is actually quite mind blowing. So I hope you're sitting down for this one. But the main thing here to remember, right? Don't forget, please, that this is not the Terminator. It's not here to kill you. It's not what you've been fed through hundreds of movies and TV storylines and media headlines. It is what you make it. And it's not sentient. It will never rival that human level of sentient thinking. Will it rival a human? Absolutely. It will do better than us. As of 2021, it's been confirmed that AI is actually better than a human at most tasks. There's data and graphs on that supporting that. So we go from that, right? It's great at tasks. It's not living, breathing. Remember that. We go from that to here's Mark Zuckerberg. Here's Meta. What are they doing? They're developing open source AGI, which is pretty crazy. So I actually want to play. We're going to let the audio go here. I want to play what Mark Zuckerberg posted on his Instagram, January 18th. So this was just a few days ago. This is regarding their announcement to develop open source AI specifically to feed the metaverse, which, Jeff and I, we can go on way deep into that in another episode. I think that is going to be huge for various reasons. We can talk more about that. But their step into developing AGI to feed the metaverse is a pretty giant step. So I'm going to let you hear it straight from Mark. Let's play this audio.
I think it's on the wrong screen right now.
Oh, here we go.
two AI research efforts closer together to support our long-term goals of building general intelligence, open sourcing it responsibly, and making it available and useful to everyone in all of our daily lives. It's become clearer that the next generation of services requires building full general intelligence, building the best AI assistants, AIs for creators, AIs for businesses, and more. That needs advances in every area of AI, from reasoning to planning to coding to memory and other cognitive abilities. This technology is so important and the opportunities are so great that we should open source and make it as widely available as we responsibly can so that way everyone can benefit. And we're building an absolutely massive amount of infrastructure to support this. By the end of this year, we're going to have around 350,000 NVIDIA H100s, or around 600,000 H100 equivalents of compute if you include other GPUs. We're currently training Llama 3, and we've got an exciting roadmap of future models that we're going to keep training responsibly and safely too. People are also going to need new devices for AI, and this brings together AI and the metaverse. Because over time, I think a lot of us are going to talk to AIs frequently throughout the day. And I think a lot of us are going to do that using glasses, because glasses are the ideal form factor for letting an AI see what you see and hear what you hear, so it's always available to help out. Ray-Ban Meta glasses with Meta AI are already off to a very strong start, and overall, across all this stuff, we are just getting started. Hey, everyone.
And if you're listening, Meta, send us a pair of glasses, please.
Yes, please. Preferably two. One in the color rose pink. Oh my goodness. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And I think the key takeaway there that really sparked my my reasoning about what he's saying is he's not saying that Llama 3 is going to have AGI. I think it's really important for us to kind of give a kind of like a ranking of like what is AGI. So we have narrow AI, which is a very narrowly focused AI that completes just one task. And then we have advanced narrow AI, which is just a step above that, which is what you see from like ChatGPT, where it's like it's able to kind of generalize and complete a lot of different tasks, but it's not necessarily like self-thinking, so to speak. And then we get into like an AGI threshold, which is just a step above that, which is where we're like on the precipice of right now. I don't think it's necessarily, this is just a prediction from me. I don't think that we're going to see it this year. I think that we'll see it very early Q1 of next year. I think that we start to see like semblances of it kind of leak out from like OpenAI and these other places, but with guardrails on, to where it's like, here's your bumpers. You're allowed to stay in this area. Go ahead and throw your balls that way. And that's what we're going to see. And then we have advanced AGI, which is able to complete most tasks better than any human on the planet. And then we have even one step above that, which is artificial super intelligence, which there is no person on the planet that's smarter than an AI. It can do everything better than you, it can think better than you, it can do, that is like almost Terminator level like of thinking right there. And that is possible. But what is interesting about these things that Sam Altman and Mark Zuckerberg are talking about is that lesser models can be used to train up future models. So if they use GPT 3.5 to then train GPT 4 and connect them together, or from them to learn from each other. And I think that we're going to see a lot of that compound, or I should say compress a lot of the time that's going to take for us to reach artificial general intelligence. And when you have Llama 3 interacting with Llama 2 and creating material for it to then learn and continue to iterate on itself, we're going to have compounding factors on both sides to where it's like, we're going to see the competition of the AGI, who has the best AGI, basically. And that's a fascinating prospect. Who knows how, that's going to compress the timeline for reskilling and people trying to find where they kind of fit in with technology in that aspect. And I don't think that anytime soon we're going to see that like artificial super intelligence like completely force everybody out of the workforce. It'll all be still AI assisted with you in the driver's seat, but just a better companion And like you said, talking to it throughout the day, using glasses, using interfaces like that, it's a really interesting and amazing world that we're heading down. I'm so glad to be born right now.
I completely agree. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's funny because some of the people I talk to most often are very, very reluctant to even say AI is good. And it's great to actually have those people close because I could bounce every argument off of them and see, okay, do you still hate AI or do you see the window of opportunity? And I think for you and I, Jeff, that's exactly what we see is the opportunity here. It's incredible. It really is whenever you think about it. And just what's on the horizon with AI replacing most human labor, in less than a century. Like we really could see this in decades. It's hard to put that into a picture. And I think the best first step you could take if you're listening to this wondering, oh dear, am I in trouble? Which is, you're not alone. That's the thought of many people right now. The best first step you could do is ask yourself, how can I start using AI? How can I start getting my hands on this? How can I learn how to use it? Just open up YouTube, type in ChatGPT tutorial, type in Midjourney tutorial, type in consonant scale, craft. Type these things in, start watching and learning, and you'll see for yourself how to actually adapt. And if we go back to the very first thing we shared at the beginning of this episode, it's exactly what Arizona State University is doing, which is really exciting to see, is they're taking enterprise licenses of OpenAI and actually giving it to their faculty saying, hey guys, go build personalized AI tutors for a writing class, the thing that needs the most revolution, because AI is going to disrupt writing forever as we know it. So I think that's the best thing is just, how do I step away from archaic institutions, ways of thinking? Am I in a school that has banned ChatGPT? Hopefully not, because we saw most of those school districts actually apologize for banning and unban. That shouldn't be happening anymore. That's the dark ages. So if you're in an environment where, ChatGPT is not encouraged, or you simply don't have anyone to talk to, I have friends that I'll text and I'll walk them through how to use ChatGPT, like open it up. I'm parents, moms, I have no idea even how to define AI. That's totally fine. Like you're not alone. But the best thing you could do for yourself, your family, your kids is to actually open these tools and get to use them. And shout out to Farnaz, our SEO coordinator. She says the impact of AI on the future of work is far from being a job destroyer. And it isn't just about job transformation. It's giving birth to completely new job roles like the AIO writer. That's a great perspective, thinking about, what you said, Jeff, like the opportunity here, how glad you are to be born in this age. If we look at it like that, perspective is everything. Mindset is everything. If we look at it like that, then opportunities will begin to open. But if we're looking at this like something terrible, bad, how scared I am of AGI on a level of 1 to 10, and I'm not saying there's things that aren't scary. The founder of Anthropic wrote this incredible thesis on, how there needs to be constitutional ethics around AI. And I love his argument because he actually was in the Senate saying we need to be the first ones to use it so we can regulate it. And I think like, if you think like that, like, how do I be the first to adapt in my job, in my workforce, in my school? Then you're going to be the one in that seat of power, being able to say, this is how we use it. This is the best case, the best use case. This is the best scenario. This is the best output. And then you become an agent of change for the people around you. So it's really cool. Like whenever I was helping my mom friend learn how to use ChatGPT to actually express herself and communicate with her school district on something she needed to, she then carried that information to other parents and friends who needed that same level of help. So it's just amazing what you, being one agent of change, going, hey, have you opened ChatGPT? Have you tried using it this way? Have you used consonant scale to, be able to step away at your desk at noon? That's what one freelancer was able to do, go from working till 11 p.m. at night to stepping away at noon, because that literally saves you 7 hours on an 8-hour blogging process. So I think it's just amazing to look at it in the right perspective. And that's when the world of AI really opens up to you and you see what's possible.
Absolutely. It's an excellent point. And speaking about writing, I know we're getting close to that 1 hour mark. Could you talk to me about a study of 1 billion SERPs?
Oh, not that.
Perhaps that might be a little too long for this of a segment.
Indeed.
That's a tease for next week, or I should say later this week. Because we're moving to 2 episodes this week. Oh yeah.
Yes.
If you're a fan of the podcast, make sure you tune in later this week. We will be live again on Thursday. We're doing the same time, correct?
Correct. Same time.
Awesome. So you'll see double of us each and every week, and we'll have a new list of topics. Also, if you're following us on any of the platforms we're on, make sure that you leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. And yeah, if you're on YouTube, make sure you like and follow. Be great. Get any feedback we can.
Absolutely. And rate us. Cheesy. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate Jeff and Julia, the future 10.
Also, if you have any topics you'd like us to cover in the show, feel free to leave a comment or send us an email. You can send me one directly at jeff@contentofskill.ai. I'm always open to cover something that one of the listeners are suggesting, and we'll do research on it, give our opinions, and cover it on the show.
I love it. That's a great idea. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jeff and I, we curate these topics every single, goodness, I think I'm thinking about it every night. I know you are too, Jeff. So, like, what are your burning questions? What are you facing? Whether it's like a situation, or maybe ChatGPT has been banned, or you have this fear, concern about AI hitting you at work or at school in some way. We'd love to hear your scenario, and we could personally help guide you through it, give you some answers. Totally Absolutely. Love to do that. So yes, and then let us talk about you on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be a great segment, actually, just for us to have on certain episodes. Is just feature somebody from the audience and kind of get whatever questions they have and talk about it, any help that they might need, any type of insight or anything we can give to help out. We can create some great actionable steps for everybody listening to kind of follow along or learn from other people's questions. It'd be great.
Oh, I love that. We could call it Hot Seat with Jeff and Julia. Put one of you in the hot seat, and then you can be like, hey, here's this scenario I'm facing. Or, one of the things, like, I've been asked, I was on a podcast with a group of copywriters, and I was asked, well, if AI can do the work 10 times faster, should I be charging less? And the answer to that I gave was no, you could actually be charging more. And you might ask, what, how, why? So if you think about services and how they're delivered, right, in content, usually you have this content deliverable, and that deliverable takes, oh my gosh, endless amounts of time. Well, what if AI, and it can, what if it can cut the majority of the hours of that time out? What can you do instead? That's how you need to think. So what I shared with these writers was to restack their services and reskill, learn some new skills where they're optimizing the content. They're using a tool like Content at Scale to deliver it way faster, get that done way sooner. And then they're moving on to strategy, reporting, measurement of success, consulting around CRO, improving the conversion rate. So all the things that matter beyond content, we now actually have more time for. So I think, there are so many ways where if you're facing a situation like that at work, or you have a question about how do I implement AI successfully, I'll tell you, we've got lots of ideas and lots of use cases at Content at Scale, which, by the way, I think surpassed 3,000 users. So pretty crazy what we're doing over here at Content at Scale. Shameless shout out. Go to contentatscale.ai.
I love that. All the shameless shouts. It's super proud of our work. I think that's that. The other day, we're so happy to be in this space, and we love what we do, and we want to share that with as many people as possible. And this podcast is just one of those outlets where where we can connect with people and really get our message out, and really connect with people that are like-minded in AI. I think that's one of the things that excites me the most. Is just these topics are just so interesting, and it's really revolutionary. It's going to change a lot of people's lives, and I want to be a part of that for as many people as possible.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is the ocean wave, the tsunami that Oh, yeah, we'll go there. Can either tear down your house, destroy your building, everything as you know it, or it can carry you to greater heights than you've ever been at before because of just the level of income, reach, impact. Like we can take this live stream and we can spit out 40 clips that would normally have taken my producer, goodness, like 2 weeks. We can do that in a matter of 2 hours. And that's thanks to Jeff uncovering this new tool, Opus Clips, where we can generate that level of output. So it's just amazing whenever you're like, you go from, right, it all starts in the mind, that perspective of, oh dear, in a few decades, AI will automate all labor. That's been predicted by over 2,000 researchers. We go from that to, oh my goodness, AI can do all the work I didn't want to do anyway. What does that leave time for? What does that allow me to do? So if we think about it like that, I mean, I'm telling you, like we can change the world. So that's my soapbox for today.
And since you brought it up, Julie, I'll go ahead and I'm going to share my screen real quick and just show somebody the power of Opus, because I think that this might help somebody that's listening. And if you're an audio listener, I'll try to describe this. But this is just from one podcast episode. If I scroll down here, these are all clips that were generated with Opus. We're not sponsored by them. We're just an affiliate or anything. It's just a great tool. Right. And we're just going, I'm still scrolling. I'm still scrolling down on this.
17, let's 19.
Let's go to the end right here. 32 wow. Clips. And keep in mind, this is just in vertical format. This is just for like TikTok and YouTube Shorts. This isn't including any clips that you can generate that are typical 16:9 or anything like that. You want to generate square ones for LinkedIn. You can generate all sorts of clips, and it literally takes no time at all. The most time that it takes you is just the scheduling of it and making sure that you have like a proper description and tags, stuff like that, which you can just use AI for that too. And that saves you a ton of time too. So yeah, hopefully that helps somebody in the audience that is looking for a solution to kind of create a ton of clips and they have long form content. And if they want other long form content, they can use it's written content at scale.
Exactly. Content at scale.ai.
Yep.
Well, I had somebody on LinkedIn reach out and say, thank you for sharing that tool. And they were able to take their YouTubes and their long forms and turn it straight into short form content. And they just never had the budget, the capacity, or the time to hire a producer for the short form content. So ever since we shared that tool out to you guys, I've seen several either gotten messages or better yet, I'm scrolling my feed and what do I see? I see an Opus clip looking back at me.
Yes. So
you took that and you ran with it. Good job.
I think the ultimate content creation and like workflow possible for 2024 is like I have an idea for something. I film a long form video. It's like an hour long. I go to content at scale. I have it create a blog post for me. I take that and then use Amy to then create, social media posts from that. I take that long form video. I go to Opus and then I create the shorts for it. You have so much content from just those two platforms alone, all from one video source. That's insane. Like
insane.
Yep.
Yeah. And the cool part of that is like, so we took this need for production, which, content production, it's an animal, it's a beast. If you've ever had to produce content, and so we've taken that initial like monstrous need for content development production. We've eliminated that because we can now generate content that is legible, has captions, is engaging, has Jeff and I, our faces are matched to the audio and that's matched to the captions, done just how a producer I would expect to pay would do it. So we go from that 50 clips that, bam, that's my month of reels. We go from that to, okay, I haven't fired my my producer. Guess what he's doing instead? He has the freedom and the mind space, the mental room to now go chase a strategy of we're looking at some of the top creators on LinkedIn right now. We're looking at how they've developed some of the analogies and how they've Like I'm telling you, like some of this stuff gets really interesting. They've literally illustrated by hand some analogy concepts to bring together visuals for what that person was saying. And they've done it by hand, and it's just artistic stuff. And it goes really far, and the reach on that is so high because less than 1% of LinkedIn video creators are even doing that. So we're now going to test that strategy. He would never have had the freedom to do that if it wasn't for AI taking away the grunt work. So that's how we're looking at it. You know, it's like, oh, I'm not going to fire my producer. No, I'm going to 10x their output. And so I think if we look at it like that, which there's a study out there that supports that, 87% of executives are actually expecting AI to augment, not replace their team right now. So that's really encouraging. We know that we can take this technology and our employers expect this level of output, but now we actually have the freedom to enjoy our work even more because AI took away all the stuff we didn't want to do anyway. So there you go. ContinentScale.ai.
Awesome points.
Shall we wrap up? I know we're at the hour.
Yep. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. We will be back on Thursday around the same time. Feel free to tune in then. I hope everybody enjoyed it and got a ton of value from this episode. This episode is very special to me. I'm sure it was for you too, Julia.
Yes.
Tackling education and seeing the improvements in that area. It's near and dear to my heart. So hopefully you found a ton of value from that. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next episode.
That sounds good. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye.